We've all been there. It's 9 a.m. or maybe it's well past midnight. You sit down, coffee in hand, the cursor blinking like a rhythmic taunt on a stark white screen. You've got the tabs open, the research is ready, and your to-do list is staring back at you with judgment. And yet, nothing happens. You're waiting for it, that spark, that sudden surge of motivation to finally kick in so you can start the climb. But minutes turn into an hour, and the only thing that grows is your guilt. You check your phone, just for a second, hoping a notification will somehow jumpstart your brain, but it only sinks you deeper into the mud of distraction. The truth is, waiting for motivation is a losing game, a trap designed by our own biology. It's like an airline pilot sitting in the cockpit of a massive 747, staring at the clouds, waiting for a feeling to magically lift the plane into the sky. It's absurd, right? A plane doesn't just leap into the air. It requires a calculated, mechanical process of acceleration. It needs a runway. Most of us fail, not because we lack willpower, but because we try to force our brains into what I call a cold start. In neuroscience, this friction is known as cognitive inertia. Your brain is a biological machine that inherently prefers the state it is currently in. If you're resting, it wants to stay resting. If you're scrolling, it wants to stay scrolling. Jumping directly into a complex task feels like a physical blow to your nervous system. When you try to force it, your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, perceives that sudden cognitive load as a threat. It triggers a subtle freeze response, which we mislabel as procrastination. You aren't lazy, you're just stuck in neutral. Today, we're going to stop chasing the ghost of motivation. I'm going to show you how to build a neuro-visual runway to slide into flow without the struggle. Let's get your engine started, properly this time. To truly understand why you can't just flip a switch and start working, we need to peel back the layers of your neurobiology. Think of your brain as a high-performance vehicle, but one with two very different engines. First, there's the prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain. It handles the heavy lifting, logic, complex problem solving, and the exertive force we call willpower. But here is the critical problem. The prefrontal cortex is the most energy-hungry part of your anatomy. It runs on a very limited supply of glucose and oxygen. On the other side, we have the basal ganglia. This is your brain's autopilot. It's efficient, low energy, and it loves habits, scrolling, and keeping things exactly as they are. When you try to transition from a resting state, where the basal ganglia is in control, to a high-intensity task, you are demanding an immediate handover of power. In neuroscience, this is not a smooth process. It's what we call the task switching cost. Your neurons are not static wires. They are dynamic pathways that must literally reconfigure their firing patterns to adapt to a new set of rules. This reconfiguration is the friction you feel. If you try to force this change through sheer willpower alone, you are essentially redlining your engine. You burn through your day's supply of mental fuel in the first 20 minutes of just trying to focus. By the time you actually start the work, you're already running on empty. This is why you feel that heavy, foggy exhaustion even if you haven't written a single sentence. Your brain isn't broken, and you aren't inherently undisciplined. You are simply fighting against the laws of biological inertia. You are trying to shift a manual transmission from neutral directly into fifth gear at 80 miles per hour. The engine doesn't just struggle, it stalls. To overcome this, we have to stop treating focus as a choice and start treating it as a physiological ramp-up. We need to respect the biology of the transition. Now that we understand the why, let's build your personal neuro-visual runway. This is a 3-step protocol designed to trick your brain into a state of focus without the painful struggle. Step 1. The environmental anchor. Your brain is a master of association. If you try to study in the same bed where you watch Netflix or sleep, your brain enters a state of contextual confusion. It doesn't know whether to release melatonin or dopamine. To fix this, you need a unique sensory trigger, a focus key, that exists only when you work. This could be a specific lo-fi playlist, a particular scent like peppermint, or even a specific desk lamp that you only turn on for deep work. Over time, this creates a Pavlovian response where the scent or sound acts as a physical signal, unlocking your concentration before you even touch the keyboard. Step 2. The low-stakes entry. The biggest mistake we make is trying to start with the hardest task immediately. Instead, commit to 5 minutes of work-adjacent maintenance. I call this calibration. Spend 5 minutes cleaning your digital desktop, organizing 3 files, or handwriting a messy brain dump of every random thought stressing you out. By doing these low-effort, low-anxiety tasks, you are essentially proving to your brain that doing the thing isn't painful. You are greasing the gears of your cognitive engine without demanding high-octane fuel yet. Finally, step 3, the 1-0-minute micro-commitment. Our brains often freeze because we look at a project and see a massive mountain we have to climb for the next 4 hours. This triggers the amygdala's threat response. To bypass this, make a radical deal with yourself. I will only work for 10 minutes. If I want to quit after that, I am legally allowed to walk away. This tiny commitment removes the threat of long-term suffering. It makes the task feel manageable. What usually happens is that by the time the 10 minutes are up, the friction has dissolved. Your engine is warm, the cold start is over, and you've already reached cruising altitude. You don't need motivation anymore because you already have momentum. So, as we bring this journey to a close, I want you to reconsider everything you've been told about getting things done. We live in a culture that worships the spark, that sudden lightning bolt of inspiration that makes work feel effortless. But if you spend your life waiting for the lightning, you'll spend most of your time standing in the dark. Real, sustainable focus isn't a lightning bolt, it's a fire you build, twig by twig, until it's strong enough to burn on its own. Your warm-up routine, your Neuro-Visual Runway, is that process of gathering the twigs. Building this runway isn't just a productivity hack, it's an act of radical self-compassion. When you stop trying to brute force your brain into submission, you're finally working with your biology instead of against it. You're acknowledging that you are a human being with a complex nervous system, not a piece of software that can be launched with a single click. Every time you light that candle, put on those headphones, or commit to just 10 minutes of work, you are telling yourself, I respect my energy enough to let it build naturally. Remember our aeroplane. The most dangerous and energy-intensive part of the flight isn't the hours spent at 30,000 feet, it's the takeoff. It's the moment when the wheels are still on the ground and the engines are screaming to overcome inertia. But once you're up there, once you've cleared the clouds, everything changes. The resistance disappears. The view is clear. And those tasks that look like mountains from the ground, from the cruising altitude of flow, they look like tiny, manageable dots. Don't wait for the feeling. Build the system. Start your warm-up tomorrow morning. Not with the intention of being perfect, but with the intention of being warm. Because the world doesn't need people who are constantly motivated. It needs people who are consistently in motion. The runway is open, your engine is ready, it's time to fly. I'll see you in the flow.